But have you ever tried to get a group to recognize a highly dysfunctional person and remove them from the group and ostracize them from the group? Have you ever tried to get a group to do that?
No, I haven't.
Most people are just cost-benefit calculation NPCs. They don't have any access to principles or universals or morals or anything like that. They're just like, okay, who in this situation can make my life more difficult? And who in this situation will not make my life more difficult? I will just conform to it, appease with the guy or the woman who's going to make my life more difficult. I will appease them, which is why threats work, which is why escalation works, which is why lying about you works. It worked. It worked, right? Nobody confronted her. She wasn't kicked out. She got her story across. She attacked your reputation. Now, maybe some people didn't believe her and maybe sided with you, but it didn't cost her anything. She's still in the group. She's still running things, or, if she left, it was of her own accord. I mean, this is what my mother taught me. She understood the world a whole lot better than I did, because I'm like, well, geez, I'm surrounded by a bunch of Christians. There are all these morals and so on. So all that happened was, when I was a kid, is people said, okay, well, geez, Steph's mom's really aggressive and vengeful and violent and kind of crazy. So if she wants to make my life difficult, boy, she could really do it. I mean, look what she did to her ex-husband, who she loved and had 2 kids with, or claimed to, right? Well, claimed to love, not claimed to have 2 kids with. I think she did. But they looked at my mother and said, okay, this is an unstable, aggressive woman, so she could make my life more difficult. Little Steph, well, what's he going to do? He's 5, he's 6, he's 10, he's 12. He's not going to make my life more difficult. So they conformed with my mom because she was aggressive. That's why people are aggressive, because it works. And the reason it works is that people don't make decisions based upon morals or ethics. They just make decisions based upon a cost-benefit calculation. And if there's an aggressive person who's willing to lie and break rules, and then, yeah, you'll conform to them, because if they come at you, everyone else will scatter. Did you see what I mean?
Oh, totally. Totally. And it's honestly the one that is more willing to almost inflict damage on the other person without regard to themselves or their future that wins in a situation like that. It's not about win-win or having reciprocal relationships at all. It's just like, I can bring more force to bear in this moment, and that makes me the winner.
Yeah, people unhampered by a conscience, I mean, they have much less to lose. They have no resistance. They can just do whatever they want. And also, the thing is, too, if I were out there in the world acting in a false, lying, dishonorable manner, well, the people in my life who love me would have a big problem with me. Whereas if someone has no conscience and they just do whatever, then nobody loves them. Then they're not going to disappoint anyone, because nobody loves them, nobody respects them deep down, nobody looks up to them. What does it cost them to be immoral? I mean, if I was out there doing terrible things in the world, my wife would not love me anymore. My child would not love me. My friends would not love me. That's not right. And of course, my listeners would desert me, and I would hope that they would, right? So for me, if I go out and do bad things, it's hugely costly for me. If someone who's not loved, who's not moral, who has no conscience, what does it cost them to do bad things? They're not loved anyway, and they gain power, right? Power is what rushes into your life when you're not loved, and it drives out whatever capacity for love you might have. And so this is why, if you want to know how moral someone is, look at who loves them, and then you'll understand what it might cost them to be immoral. So, sorry, you were going to say?
I was just saying, how is that? Can you restate what you said? When love leaves somebody's life, power is what rushes in?
Yeah, so when someone is loved, and love is our emotional response to virtue if we're virtuous. So if somebody's loved, then they're loved for their virtues, which means if they're not virtuous, they will not be loved. They lose love. And when you have love, losing it is the worst thing, because love is the best thing, right? So if someone is loved for their virtues, then they pay a very high price for being immoral. But if somebody is immoral, then nobody can love them. And so what happens if you're not loved? You still want to have an effect in the world. You still want to, you go for dominance, because love is win-win. When you love someone and they love you back, you're both happier because of it. It's win-win. It's like the free market. But people without a conscience who are amoral or immoral or just dominance or status-based or hierarchy-based, just climb the hierarchy, it doesn't matter whose faces you step on, those people are not loved. So what do they get as the consolation prize for not being loved? Power. They get power. They get power. They get an effect in the world. They bully people and they matter to people because people are scared of them. And instead of love, they get fear and conformity. And that's the sad consolation prize. And so, and the more you pursue dominance and aggression, the less you're loved. Therefore, the unhappier you are. Therefore, the more you have to fill up that unhappiness with dominance and aggression and subjugation of others.